Meanwhile, we just get some thoughts from you, Laura, on this, because for young people, you must wonder why it's taken so long to get to a point where we're agreeing to phase out coal.
It's hard because we have built up our world to use fossil fuels, and so we need to see a path out of it. Now we know that renewables are easy, they are cheap, we've got the technology to do it, and the knowledge is there. So now is the time because we know the way out, the path out of this. You do need to recognise that we have built up a world around fossil fuels, and so we need to move away from it. And I think young people now see that and go, this is where I want to do it. You know, I speak to young people every day who are interested in working in the environmental sphere, and people say, I want to work in renewable energy, I want to work in an industry that is going to help the planet, and that really spurs people on, and that's, you know, all around this conversation. I think it's great to hear it, and I'm actually really proud that Glasgow will be the COP where coal is consigned to history.
I don't know whether you saw our report from one of our correspondents about the Orkney Islands and how they're generating more from renewables than they even need. I mean, that's the ideal, isn't it?
It is. I don't know how much you've been outside, but Scotland's windy. We've got wind.
Can I tell you, I have not seen daylight since Saturday. But
oh my
I take
goodness.
your word for it that there's enough renewable resource out there.
Yeah. There's a really good phrase up in the Highlands of Scotland, blowing a hoolie, and that is because you go there, you've got to keep your hat down, and that's one of the things that we need to be looking into more and more. You know, renewable energy is the future, and lots of different countries have an ideal renewable for them. In Scotland, we've got lots and lots of wind, so we can use that. But across the world, there are areas where are key for solar or even for different renewable energies, and that's what we need to be transitioning to. And that's a really exciting thing about knowing that we have that future, and we just need to move that investment. That's also where we can bring in climate finance. We know that another big topic around this COP, this United Nations Climate Summit, is around kind of bridging the gap, closing the gap on climate finance. And when we talk about that finance, it's about things like renewable energy and helping out developing nations, some of the nations that are most at risk, most vulnerable to climate change, helping them to adapt and move towards renewable energy as well.